Dooming afterlife, daylight, dawn comes as a surprise. I am so hurt, I see heaven's light. Through the chaos, you're still on my mind. When the sky falls down, we'll make it out together. When the world ends here, we'll disappear forever.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing you with AEL Aegis Executioner League, week number 7. Galaxy Gaming Milkyways taking on Iridescent Dawn Supernova. My name is Cherry J, joined by Jack. We're here on the stream looking for some great League of Legends today. And Jack, we got two phenomenal teams. Why don't you introduce us to who we got running tonight?
Absolutely. So first up, we have Galaxy Gaming Milkyway playing for their playoff future. FTWY in the top lane, Steve in the jungle, Bald Eagle 23 in the mid lane, Maddie at 80 carry, and Sup King at, of course, support. Looked through these teams and pretty stacked roster for a 3-3 team. I mean, a lot of these guys have very distinct champion pools, been putting in a lot of time, and I expect them to come out very motivated to finish off the season strong.
Exactly. Both of these teams extremely good and extremely ready to fight. Now, this is week number 7. Both teams are looking to bring themselves further here, but as we know, only one can come out on top. And just based off of our standings, Iridescent Dawn Supernova, definitely the team to beat. With a current match record of 6-0, only dropping 4 maps, it seriously is looking like they are going to be able to take home this league. However, Galaxy Gaming Milkyway, they're 3-3, but they do have more games won than games lost, with 8-7 being their record. We look at some of these players, everyone on both of these rosters looks super stacked. So honestly, I think Iridescent Dawn Supernova, they have a good team coming up with 2 diamond players, 2 emerald players, and 1 platinum. But I would not count their opponents out just yet, because if we move over towards their opponents, we will get to see that there is a lot of good players on this time. We go over towards the top lane of Free Vice. Actually, I don't think I have them on my sheet, but they certainly cannot be a slouch by any means. I definitely am super excited to see what this player does have to offer us. Oh, and yeah, so Free Vice, Diamond 4 with 99 or 49 LP, sorry. They have played a lot of Gennard this season. They've played a lot of Kennen and a lot of Urgot. I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and we might possibly, Jack, see the Aurora top come out, because Aurora top, it's something that I would not be surprised if we see, and it seems like they wouldn't either. With 10 games on the pick, it certainly would not be the most insane thing to come out to.
Nope, and both of these top laners like playing a lot of ability power in the top side. DDGZ Rhino is one of the best players in the league, tied for the highest kill participation. Justify mid. Moz is honestly probably the best player in the entire league. And then Rudy supporting. I mean, this roster's stacked. No surprise they are 6-0 for their series records.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what both these teams bring to us, and we're going to go straight on into the draft here, Jack. What do we expect to see? Because immediately, Gunnar going to be taken off the board along with that Xin Zhao, which I think is an interesting... that's not... Oh, I don't even remember icons at this point. My brain is too tired out, and I've been up since 2 a.m. I don't know about you, but I certainly cannot get my brain around some of this.
I mean, Xin Zhao, Tristana coming out. Tristana is obviously a flex. Jarvan coming out makes me think that they want to pick something immobile at that 80 carry position. Like I said, Iridescent Dawn Supernova, Moz is the guy to play around. And so if we're looking to get him one of these hyper carries, especially the Varus that he's so good at, extremely immobile. You don't want the enemy team to just lock in Jarvan and make his life a living hell. Also, the Rumble Band, that's one of the signatures for the top laner over there, FTWY. So I like right away, very standard draft, insta-locking that first Maokai. Very strong champ, very versatile, a lot of play around, works in almost every comp.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that ultimate come out as well, because that is so strong when it comes to contesting for grubs, when it comes to being in those skirmishes. I think that the Maokai is definitely going to be a strong pick, and as you said, very versatile. Could be in the support position, could be towards the top lane, even jungle. Ivern going to be there to match it, so that kind of gives an idea that IDS does look to have this match a Maokai in the jungle, because you wouldn't want to first pick that in some scenarios, but also Ivern's a character a lot of teams would opt to ban, so it is a good idea to get that on your side as early as possible if you do want to bring it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it works with a lot of different team comps too. Ivern, not the simplest character, has a lot of unique mechanics. Aphelios coming out, speaking of unique mechanics, but if there's anyone in this league I trust to pilot the champ, it's definitely Moz. Aphelios brings so much carry potential, so versatile. You can either get long range, you can get AoE damage, you can get high attack speed. I mean, this champ really does it all, and when we're talking about wanting to play through your carry, especially this late in the season, maybe for them, being 6-0, they just want to keep rolling, keep the wins coming, or maybe they want to try out some new stuff. Not sure yet. We'll have to see once we get into the game. Matched up with the Sivir, hyper carry type player, type champ, want to put that down in the bottom lane. I'm assuming that they are going to grab a support right away. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Yuumi here. It is Sup King's favorite champion by far. Pairs extremely well with the Sivir. I know Yuumi is not the most beloved champion in the game. I'm a fan, but they're going to have to go for the Syndra for Bald Eagle. One of the highest ranked players in this league, plays a lot of these control mages. He's got a lot of games on Azir, a lot of games on the Syndra, the Orianna. He wants to play these control type mages. So makes sense to lock him in something he's comfortable on, something that is safe in that mid lane while we look at this last pick on red side.
I'm just going to say it, Jack. I'm a little bit surprised by both bot laners, since if we look at some of their more recent champions, both of them have been mainly pulling out characters like the Jhin, and we haven't seen a lot of Sivir or Aphelios from either of them. So I'm a little bit skeptical, but as you said, Moz, they do have 4 games this season on that Aphelios, so it is not a very odd pick in my book. I think that the Urgot, definitely a strong one. We've seen a lot of good Urgot play. They have 10 games this season on the character, so I definitely trust them to pilot this well, and that executability that does come off of it is going to be very strong into any top laner. So I think the Maokai into Urgot, not the worst matchup for Maokai, but it certainly would not be easy. Now, the question is going to be, how will they respond? Because you were expecting to see some supports come out. So are we going to expect the rest of these bans to go support? Obviously, the first 2 have been, but we'll wait and see.
I think I agree with the support bans from IDS. I think you really want to limit the ability to have follow-up engage from that Maokai ultimate. But I don't fully agree with that Leona ban. I mean, obviously, they are lacking engage on the side of IDS, but paired up with Aphelios, it's not always the best combo. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Enchanter come out on the side of IDS, and then maybe in the mid lane try and grab another tank. I know that you have Ivern. Urgot has pretty good damage, but not when you think damage champs, you don't think Urgot. But I think that they would really benefit from a spellcaster, Enchanter type support. Something like a Karma, I think, would play really well here. But when we look at the matchup on the other side, you've got a lot of range, and no one does better with range than Ahri, able to use that ultimate to get into all of those spots during team fights, really able to run across the entire fight, be everywhere at once, and it can be very difficult for Syndra to deal with that.
I think Ahri's a really strong champion here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that can play out, because I think this is one of the better champions that is currently in the game of League of Legends, and I want to see how will this actually be able to find value, because I think Syndra, especially Bald Eagle, who is one of those players who, as you said, very good player. It kind of begs the question, will they be able to just kind of burst this Ahri down and limit their gold potential in very quick fashion? Blitzcrank going to be our final pick for the side of GGMW. I don't know how I appreciate that. I'd like to get your thoughts on it, because personally, I think that Blitzcrank Sivir is kind of odd, but what do you think?
I mean, it's definitely not an incredible bot lane combo. You usually want to pair Blitzcrank with an AD with a lot of burst, so you can really get a lot of kills in that lane. But what the Blitzcrank does here is really corners IDS. They want to pick an Enchanter. They want to pick something that supports Aphelios, and it's hard to do that when every time they walk in the lane, Blitzcrank is threatening to pull them into their death. They're going to match with the Nautilus. Very good champion into the Blitzcrank, because it allows you to, if Blitz pulls you in, Nautilus is kind of right where he wants to be. Just hits R on the 80 carry, stuns down the Blitzcrank, does perfectly fine, can tank up a lot. So I think it might have pivoted them somewhat away from the perfect bottom lane combo for the team composition for the late and mid game. But for the lane, Aphelios Nautilus is a good combo. Aphelios early can have a lot of burst, and I think, remembering back over the years, the preferred bot lane matchups with the Aphelios is either Lulu or Thresh, and while Nautilus doesn't bring the same type of safety that Thresh does, still gives you a lot of those mechanics.
So personally, I am a big fan of Iridescent Dawn with their composition. I don't know how you feel about this. I think that I'm going to prefer this going to map number 1, but I'd love to get your thoughts.
I think IDS have a great composition for their skill caliber. I mean, when you're talking about players that are, they're 6-0, they've dropped 4 games total. These are all really strong players. You got Moz, on a champion that can easily take over the game. I really like the comp. Every single player is, other than Z-Rhino, is on a player or a champion that has a lot of carry potential and can really be self-sufficient. Ivern kind of relying on everyone else, but he's going to support everyone else. Whereas GGMW, I feel like they have a much more cohesive, team fighting composition. Maokai throws the ult down. You get the Ornn Horn coming in. Blitzcrank runs forward, grabs the first person he sees, and then Syndra can kind of safely from the backlines throw in those spheres, those orbs. And Sivir, the meanwhile, as one of the lowest range AD carry in the game, Ahri's got to get pretty close. Nautilus, Urgot, obviously melee champions. I know Urgot's kind of hybrid, but he's melee. Aphelios, you're not going to be ever getting there. So they have pretty decent front to back. I do think, however, IDS, as you said, has the caliber of players to execute this comp.
I'm liking this a lot from them, but I want to see how much value this I think the Aphelios, for me at least, is a pick that it's going to be very difficult to execute perfectly, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they can pilot the champ, because I definitely don't think it's unwinnable. Now, this game is definitely going to be either sided. We're not going to know until after this break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back right after this. Don't go anywhere, because we got League of Legends right up your alley.
日本国内発送のみ？あ、それなら全マーケットね。
すごい迷宮だ。あの商品はどこに？あそこだ。でもどうすれば？おわ、わかった。よっと。はっ。うん。はっ。よし。
I feel it in my bones. A spark to lead us through the shadows. But can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul. A road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? I feel it in my bones. A spark to lead us through the shadows. Can I fight the way before me? It's coursing through my soul. A road to guide us through the sorrow. Can I calm this storm inside me? This storm inside me.
By the way, we can't see the game. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going straight on into the Rift. This is going to be our game one of a best of 3 series. Join me back on the mic. It's going to be Jack for our epic best of 3. Both these teams ready to battle it out. And now the question does become, who will be the first one to the punch? Got an aggressive start. And Jack, I want to get your opinion on how this red side might be playing this, because this is a little bit of an odd maneuver.
Yeah, I think they're expecting an invade. I mean, when you have Blitzcrank on your team, you're always going to be looking for the invade. Maokai jungle, it's a super easy clear, so he can afford to start W. If Syndra comes down, a lot of damage comes through. Same with the Sivir, can either start Q or W, put damage everywhere. Even though that looked quite aggressive, I think that was probably the most defensive start they could have. They actually, it's funny, blue side, Galaxy Gaming, Milkyway have one of the funniest, like, easy invade characters, because Syndra used to be meta. You'd start W and then late invade and just grab whatever camp the jungler was starting and throw it into the lane. And same with Blitzcrank, just run in, grab it, run out. You know, really, these were long time strategies. I think they have since left the game. But as we get started here, just across the maps, I think that most of this early game is going to be focused on the bot side. You know, Urgot and Ornn, they're just going to kind of, you know, this is how as you see right in front of you, that's how the lane's going to go. You got a semi-range into a melee. But in this bottom side, you got 2 hook champs, just like that. You're going to be seeing a lot of that. Double hook.
I gotta say, though, I'm a little bit more impressed on that second one, able to connect onto the AD carry, unlike how we saw from Rudy, who was just hooking up on the Blitzcrank, somebody who really can afford to take that damage, unlike the side of the Sivir, who really does have a little bit less HP to extend and they might be a little bit more unhappy with that damage. So Jack, I don't know how I'm feeling about this so far, but it definitely seems as if this presence towards the top side could start to get a little bit overwhelming for the Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we've got Ivern here. He just wants to tag as many camps as possible and run down. I'm not sure why the Raptor pathed that way. That was a bit strange. Maybe because the vision was on it, but Ornn is just tagging his camps. He tagged his wolves early, which is very smart. Really accelerates Ivern's ability to get down, saved his smite for the blue so he can get it right away. So as you see here, crabs haven't even spawned yet, and Ivern has cleared his entire camp top to bottom. So it allows him to get out onto the map quickly. It is pinged right away on that ward, a very smart ward to set up. I'm very impressed across the board with everyone right now. Bot lane, both contested the push. Obviously, they did a little bit of trading with those hooks, but managed to stabilize it on both sides. Ivern did the Ivern clear very well. Like I said, this is a very unique champion, so it's not just good enough to know jungle clears. You got to know Ivern specifically. And then on the flip side, Ornn has been able to absorb a ton of XP. He's sitting at level 3. He is a level down, but it's expected in this matchup. And in the mid lane, I mean, Bald Eagle really utilizing this early range advantage. Bald Eagle is one of the highest ranked players in this league for CS per minute, and I think that that's exactly what we're going to see.
Immediately, though, you cannot count out anybody. Everybody here has shown time and time again why they are here and how they can improve upon themselves. Especially towards this top side, we're going to start to see some congestion, and Ivor looking to try and get a little bit of pressure back, but after tanking a turret shot, they're not going to be too pleased with that. Yeah, back towards the bot side, we will see most of these lanes pushed in from either side, excluding mid, where there's real contention over who's going to start it out. And I gotta say, Justify, I don't hate how they're playing this, just due to the fact that I think that combo rune with the electrocute can be so powerful in the current meta. So I'm liking how they're doing this. I don't know how you feel, because I know you really like Bald Eagle, and I know that they're definitely not going to go out without a fight. But do you think that this electrocute rune could potentially be a difference that might make a problem for them?
Oh, certainly. I mean, especially depending on the build that we see out of Ahri. There are two contesting builds right now. One of them where you go Malignance into just general burst damage and try and leverage all of your damage into that ultimate ability. But then there's also the newer Blackfire Torch build. Allows you to really get as much damage as possible and ramp up throughout the fights, but it's much more difficult to pull off. You need to make sure you're tagging everyone as possible. Almost all of your damage is in your Q at that point. So I think with the electrocute, it would definitely give you way more potential in lane, but it also is going to help you in these fights, as we see a fight bot.
Oh, this is significantly better. Sub King already at low HP. We've seen this game kind of just at a standstill, but after that, that's no longer going to be the case. However, the Ivern's spending a lot of time supporting this bot lane, which will allow this Maokai, despite the lack of speed comparatively, they're up 10 CS against their opponent, and they've already gotten it back, so they are certainly going to be in the lead CS-wise. Meanwhile, over towards the bot side, all you've really gotten, if you are... I was about to say, if you're the side of Iridescent Dawn, you've kind of just had to expend some utility from your opponents, but not really. They're going to be standing very tall and very supported throughout that entire engagement, and Sub King not utilizing a single one of their summoner spells. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Rudy has none remaining.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad gank by Z Rhino. They had to use both of Nautilus Hills. They are going to get the grubs because of Urgot's push, but they're giving up the Hextech Dragon. Yeah, that was, I mean, really great patience by Maddie and Sub King. Not a single summoner spell used. They were able to get it back, which they were probably looking for anyway, picking up the BF sword on Sivir. I mean, this is a champ that everyone knows the memes. The 300 CS power spike takes a long time to get this champion online, but once she does, she's got so much built into her kit. Crit amplifying, attack speed boosts, movement speed boosts. Now, though, Z Rhino able to pick up those 3 grubs. That's going to be helpful throughout the game. I always like seeing permanent buffs picked up. He's also invading on that top jungle on those respawns because Maokai was busy taking the dragon. Very well done. I always say though about counter jungling, it's not effective until you go get your own camps, because otherwise it's just a trade. He is hovering around top side. No teleport for Ornn, so if he's able to get chunked down and forced to back, he actually would stand to lose a decent amount if this wave got pushed in, but looks like Ivern's just going to go back to his camps and look to restart that full clear.
And both of these supports very low, so if this engagement does break out, it certainly would be on the favor of this red side in Iridescent Dawn. However, a spell shield to break it out. And can we just talk about Justify's build right now? I don't understand why, but okay.
So, you know, it's very rare I find myself giving like options early in game, saying like, oh, they could build this or they could build this. But they decided to go for the door number 3, and seems to be a Rod of Ages start. Now, I believe this game is being played on patch 15.6. I'm not positive. I don't think there was a patch update yesterday. There's going to be one next week. Aegis is that item, not this league. That item is going to be getting a buff in the next patch, or maybe an adjustment. I'm not sure exactly how they labeled it. But as of right now, yeah, Catalyst of Aeons is same item it was. So we're going to be seeing a Rod of Ages build. And I know you talked about liking Ahri. I'm a fan of the champ in circumstances, but I think that going a build like this, there's a high likelihood that this champion puts out very little damage come the late game, as the Hextech Flash baits out the E, but we might see a big fight here.
Oh, Subking really trying to go all in here with the W to increase speed, but a great Maokai ult and a combo with the Blitzcrank going in so aggressively. Maddie to secure the second kill, and that's already looking like, despite circumstances changed at the beginning, it's going to be the Blitzcrank to really put in the effort and put in that heavy lifting to secure this double kill. I'm loving this from this blue side of the Galaxy Gaming Milky Way right now. They're doing such high caliber plays, and I want to see them get even more.
I mean, that was perfectly executed. Nature's Grasp comes in right away. They're both so far at the front of it, there's no chance of even running away. Moz ends up using his flash, doesn't even help him at all because there's so much follow-up CC. Blitzcrank hadn't even used his hook yet. And then his ultimate just silences everyone, so there's nothing to do after that. Maddie didn't even have to pop his ult, so there's no movement speed necessary. So now, Sivir backs, finishes the Yuntals, so she's going to start stacking that crit. And on the other side, you've got just the BF sword, had to go back for a cull, very little damage. Hook on Ivern.
Oh, look at this extra damage. Almost secures the kill, but Zerino able to get out. That was barely a kill to be secured, but unfortunately, no real aggression will be found and no kills to be extended. That's very good gameplay from both teams. Neither one of them wanted to really force a fight there, and I gotta say that if you are this red side, that certainly was a great play. Iridescent Dawn Supernova, they're gonna take another engagement towards top side, but neither jungle really in a position to help. Maybe the Maokai will start to make their way over there, but as of now at least, it seems as if both teams are really kind of just in this standstill that they will continue to be in. I know you said you didn't think the Rod of Ages would get a lot of damage. I agree to an extent, but I think like if you're playing to scale, it's not the worst item in the world just because of the extra level you get, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, it is certainly going to help the utility able to be brought out. Obviously, you're going to be so much more there's going to be so much more survivability during these team fights. That means more charms. That means a longer time to wait for those Spirit Rush refreshes and resets. Definitely going to be more of a nuisance. And I guess when you have a team comp with this Urgot who can, you know, really start to be, speaking of nuisance, you have this unkillable crab running around your fight, it can really just become a lot. And when you're running this very centrally focused team fight composition with the Ornn, with the Maokai, you want to lock down as many people as possible, and then your Sivir and your Syndra are both, you know, pretty. I know Sivir has those, you know, bouncing shots, but you're really single target damage, and Syndra, the best single target damage in the game, is the execute's going to come out.
A great execute secures the kill onto this Ornn in the top side. That's going to be enough to really get this game back into the swing of things. with the gold lead not being as heavily extended towards this blue side of Galaxy Gaming Milky Way as one would expect. So you got to be happy there. It'll give the Urgot time to start hitting the tower potentially as well. But the Drake is going to be started, and we don't see the Ivern anywhere close to be found. Also, no vision to support this theory from this red side as well. So I think it is going to be difficult for this Galaxy Gaming Milky Way to really scale late game once that 2 Drake has been secured, but that lead isn't going to be enough compared to the 6 Void Grubs that have already been taken. So it's good, but it isn't amazing just yet. But I think that killing this, oh, it does seem like this Urgot will be taken down, because you can see on the minimap there's a lot of players flooding in, and if you're smart, you're going to want to let this Ornn kill you, and they will let them kill them, and that will claim the Feats of Warfare with 3 kills.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nowhere he could go. He got greedy, tried to get the plate, got TP'd behind by the Ornn, but now Supking looking for this. Does have Spirit Rush. Uses it early. Doesn't want there to be any chance. Very well done by Justify. Just wants to blow whatever is the lowest cooldown ability just to get out of there, ensure that Blitzcrank doesn't get the pull. That back to that top lane. I mean, that's why you pick a champion like Urgot. You don't want to pick Urgot and then hope that, you know, eventually in the team fights it's able to turn on. You want the Urgot to establish that lane kingdom, push the enemy top laner off of as much CS as possible, and then just kind of steamroll through while, you know, the enemy top has to stay in lane to try and gather CS and levels. You're already so far ahead, and Ornn's gonna have to go all in here.
Good Ornn ult though, just to start off the fight. Currently not getting much off of it. Instead though, that's going to be a little bit of overaggression potentially from Fire Vice, and see whether or not they can find anything. Trying to duck around, but nobody to support them. Very few TPs available, and that's going to be the kill by the looks of it. Yes, it will. Bald Eagle to support it, and there's going to be the elimination, finding a 4th, and at this point, this gold lead is becoming kind of just unstoppable. The bot lane is ahead, the mid lane is ahead, the jungle is way ahead, and there will be a couple turrets getting exchanged in the bot side and maybe the top side later on. However, as of now, it seems like it's going to be the opposite, where it will be the side of Iridescent Dawn Supernova to take a tower in the top side. But ooh, some aggression comes through, and they'll allow Rudy to take a little bit of damage. And if you are the side of Galaxy Gaming Milky Way, you're certainly not going to want to let them live, but unfortunately you just don't have the firepower yet to be able to secure these kills.
Yeah, really bad spot here for Z Rhino. Just instantly blown up. Wrong place, stayed for way too long. He's trying to capitalize off of the strong bot side push, but just not able to have enough support to really go for that play. And Moz is really in a tough spot, because this Aphelios is the only hyperscaling you've got on the team, and when you're facing down the barrel of a Syndra that can easily one-shot you if she gets in range, the Maokai is going to lock you down, the Ornn is going to knock you up from a screen away, Sivir is going to be able to damage you just from the ricochets. This is getting into a pretty tough spot. The only real benefit is the grubs, but now Moz caught.
A great stun out from Bald Eagle allows the hook to come in from Supking, and after that, it was just a complete annihilation and an explosion to occur on to Moz. At this point, it is seeming as if this gold lead might just be the end, but there's still 6 grubs, so you could just try and play for that split push, which Fire Vice is certainly going to want to do, since they are playing Ornn, a champion that excels when it comes to split pushing, but is not over for either team. We might see contention for this Herald soon enough. Drake's not going to be alive for 1:30, so contesting that objective would not be the end of the world for either team, and they definitely both will consider it.
Yeah, this is the struggle with the Ivern pick. Obviously, so good at supporting your teammates and helping them throughout the game, already picking up that redemption. It's an item that synergizes so well. But when it comes to picking up these neutral objectives, he struggles greatly.
Oh, big Ornn ult. Gonna try and go for some more, but the Airborne to cancel it out, and Flash will be extended and exhausted, but Fire Vice to die. It allows this Ornn to get back up into this game, and their armor has already been so dominant with 3 items that increase that, along with Tear of the Goddess, just make sure that these abilities can be utilized to their fullest. So a little bit of contention towards the mid lane, and currently I'd have to favor this blue side despite only having 2 players here. A good hook coming in from Sup King could easily change the pace of that, but it's going to be a divergence from the red side of Iridescent Dawn Supernova. They're looking to go for this Drake potentially, but they will back off in the end.
Yeah, and now, you know, Steve has fully locked down these neutral objectives. It's so difficult for them to contest, not only because of their positioning on the map, but just like you mentioned earlier, the gold lead, the items are really starting to, you know, add up here. And the Maokai has that Leandri's Torment, and just the fact that Maokai only has to build this 1 damage item and can put out so much after that. Steve is going to be here. We're going to see our full 5v5 here on the map.
Oh, Brave though, taking a little bit of damage. Drake's already being burned down. You want to get the entrance into this fight, utilizing that Blitzcrank, but Sup King not finding the angle. Root comes through, gonna be able to attach. Currently though, Bald Eagle getting completely stunned up. It's gonna be Rudy to fall though with a flash to get out of the way. Frey gonna be hit by the execute coming in from the Urgot, but wanting to go for more fights, gonna be able to get one, but it seems as if this Drake with 2k HP is gonna be taken down. Rudy at very low HP, but there's not gonna be too much they can do. Stun comes down. There's gonna be the over aggression. It's gonna be the Maokai to get something, but they can't get the steal. There's gonna be the red side taking their first Drake of the game, and after that, you want this game to go your way if you are Galaxy Gaming, but that certainly wasn't bad. It just wasn't how you wanted it to be. It's a 2-for-1 trade. However, it's also a Drake that was achieved for the side of Iridescent Dawn Supernova, so they're really putting in the effort, and they are going to be able to at least slightly even this game out with that.
I mean, the beginning of that fight really just went and showed where the item difference is, because Aphelios landed a 5-man Moonfall with the Infernum. It did so much AoE, you know, it hit so many people AoE, as Z Rhino getting caught here is probably gonna be able to walk away as long as he doesn't step back up. But back to the fight, the Moonfall came down, hit everyone, but just there's no items yet on the Aphelios. There's no damage, and all it really did was poke them out, but it did enough so that when Urgot finally sat and locked down one target, he was able to use that Fear Beyond Death execute. And now you're in a 4v5 situation. And when we, you know, as we do have a little bit of a spectator pause here, but when they went to restart that fight, it's a 4v5, you're all so low, and I want to commend Steve there, because he got onto the dragon with only 1300 XP or health, excuse me. That was a very valiant attempt, but just wasn't able to make it stick. Goes down trying to steal the Drake. Like I said, valiant effort, as we do continue to have this spectator bug here. So it is, you know, unfortunately a side effect of the spectator client being a bit odd. And as soon as you come and see our lovely faces, we're going right back into it.
I personally was a big fan of Rudy's player there. They were the one that was really just that kind of catalyst for this team and the keystone to be able to stay in that fight, taking a ton of damage, allowing the team to stay behind them. And after that, they were still somehow able to escape with their life, just had to flash away. And coming into this next fight, this tower will be destroyed. Voracious Otacon to spawn. Potentially a crunch comes through. Rudy hitting up onto that spell shield, not finding a ton, but a great hook from Soup King, making Rudy just stand here and take it. But the sun comes through. Bald Eagle finds the first. Rudy's going to be rooted down, and FTWY going to be the next to secure the kill. And at this point, that might just do it for this next tower. And this absolute domination from this blue side is going to continue with the Herald being extended. And oh my gosh, there's zero respect, and they want to completely shut down this game. Next tower, that's 3 towers in one fight. Make it an inhibitor potentially, but no, just using this Herald as an Uber, looking to get the next tower hit on out. Unfortunately, missing it. So now they will be able to destroy that, but oh my gosh, blue side doing a ton.
Bald Eagle's dead. Fry Vice decided the whole time. He said, screw my team, they're inters. I'm pushing sides until the game's over. And I mean, that you saw the draft gap right there in that team fight, because sure, the Nautilus gets pulled in as Fire Vice is going to try his best under tower here. Might actually do a lot of damage before he goes down.
Unfortunately, no kills to be secured.
Yeah, is going to get popped down. But, I mean, it's just so simple for this team. Sivir nearly gets caught out. No dredge line to come through after that spell shield was used, so she's just able to walk away. And then Sup King just walks up, grabs him. They're able to take him down. And the Syndra teleports in. Z Rhino and Moz are just too far up, and once you hit all these R buttons, I mean, the Maokai ultimate, the Nature's Grasp comes out, the Oran Horn is sounded, and it's just so easy for these champions to just go one by one. And, you know, ultimate, Maddie uses the Sivir ult, they're able to just run everyone down. And like you mentioned, just take 2 turrets, just like that. I mean, it had been kind of a quiet game in terms of turrets taken. There'd only been 1 the entire game. And now we're at a point where that was just 2 turrets taken right away. You've still got the bot, some standing gold on the map, as we do see another spectator pause here. They don't do us tier 3 leagues. They don't do us any favors with these continuous spectator bugs, but we are going to do everything we can to get you back into this game. I want to take a look really quick and ask you, we looked at these drafts and we're looking at the 2 picks, the Sivir and the Aphelios. And when you talk about scaling, they both obviously have it, but obviously, I mean, look at the states they're both in, 3-0-4 versus 1-3-1. I mean, it's getting pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, you're not wrong whatsoever, especially due to the fact that there's an Infinity Edge already being built for this Sivir. They're going to be extremely strong, and they're going to be able to use these Hu Taos as well. And with the Blitzcrank able to just pour out so much damage with their allies being able to get that close range engagement, I'm feeling like this is going to be a Sivir who could potentially change this game just by themselves. Personally, though, I'm not so sure on who's going to win this game just yet. I think both teams still can, but yeah, it's definitely going to be on this blue side to conclude it, because as we've seen time and time again, that Galaxy Gaming Milkyway has certainly been the team to beat. They have 2 Drakes, they have a big gold lead of almost 3k, and it seems as if their towers have not been really that bad either. Obviously, they are currently down. Yeah, no, they are not currently down. Actually, I'm a liar, because there's 2 towers in mid that I was not considering compared to their opponents, who they're basically left with an inhibitor, and that is it for their mid lane.
Yeah, and it gives them very easy access. 3 minutes until the Baron at the time of the pause. Minute 24 until the Dragon. So, I mean, we're at a spot where one team fight goes the side of Galaxy Gaming Milkyway, and they are going to be able to just steamroll towards the end of this game and attack that Nexus. I will say, we have already seen Iridescent Dawn Supernova win a fight, even in this disadvantage. We saw during that Mountain Dragon fight, the first one they got, I mean, they used their poke so masterfully. They were so patient. They didn't commit until they knew they had it. And then Fire Vice, who's been, you know, his KDA doesn't look great, but KDA is not all that matters. He's been able to get 2 turrets on his own. He's gotten a bunch of solo kills, and he really is a huge threat. So just like we're talking about those mid turrets being down, the inhibitor being open, if Fire Vice gets a wave pushed in and a fight goes even somewhat wrong for GGMW, they are at threat of losing a ton of structures to the split push of this Urgot.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that, especially with the Urgot having 6 Void Grubs on their back. It really is just a situation where you cannot allow this Urgot to go off on their own and find that. And especially now, with the Hullbreaker being online, it allows them to get even more value out of split pushing. But they will most likely have to join the team for this contestant over Drake, or not Drake, sorry, the Ferocious Otacon, because that is a big one that both teams should at least attempt to get.
Yeah, and that would be huge for both of these teams. The Voracious giving you that Guardian Angel. I mean, it would be so big for Iridescent, because they would be able to, you know, this Urgot can now go in without fear of losing his life. Nautilus, same thing, can just go right in and be able to put out all of the CC possible, knowing that at the very least you're going to have a 15-second death time or give up 200 gold, and it's going to be really easy for you to continue the rest of the game. Gold lead is pretty stagnant as to where it has been. It's still maintaining around a 3K, 4K gold lead. So at least they're stemming the bleeding a little bit. We were talking about Justify earlier on this Ari, and I guess, to your point, that scaling build with the Rod of Ages has been beneficial. No deaths yet on this champion that can so often put itself in sticky situations. But on the other side, I mean, Maddie, I was talking about him earlier. This guy is one of the best in this league, one of the most capable, and one of the guys really trusted by his team, and they put him on this hyper carry. They trust him to do so. And you see here, 3-0-0, really able to put the team on his back.
It's a big start, but you need to be able to finish strong because this is only game number 1. As we are all aware, there is still minimum 1 more game if you are able to win this. And even if you lose this, that does bring a bigger lead into the question of, will you be able to secure a 2-0 finish? Will you go down? If you are 3-3, as we do see Galaxy Gaming Milky Way being in the situation, they're going to be really happy with this. But from their opponents, you're the team to beat right now, 6-0. You got to be able to secure the win, but will you be able to do it? That is the question.
Yeah, and again, we apologize for these ongoing delays. I think we should send it to a very quick break as we continue to look into trying to get this game restarted for you all, and so we will be right back.
to spread my roots. Hey, find a place I can bloom. And I am quickly running out of time. Nobody knows how many minutes left, Everyone knows I've been wasting my time. Hey, I wanna go now. Hey, call it a storm now. And I wanna go and take what I own. Should've done it long ago. Hey, you just calling me your own. Staying in from all the cold weather, I've been getting sick thinking of you. Feels just like the flu. I'm drowning in the soup. I've been thinking of you. I can't find my cold. Everywhere I go so cold. Wish that I could go, but you're too deep in the snow. Frozen skylights stored outside, and it makes me frozen inside. Every night I wanna drive by, but my coat is lost in the snow. Staying in from all the cold weather, I've been getting sick thinking of you. Feels just like the flu. Drowning in the soup. I've been thinking of you. Broadcast from my room. Someone let me loose. Sunshine in the news. Frosted in the gloom. And I can't drive to you. My windshield frozen too. Think gas won't make the fumes. I'll never make it back to you. I sit at night, stuck on my mind, with the fireplace in my eyes. In the twilight, different moonlight, nothing comes out late at night. Staying in from all the cold weather, I've been getting sick thinking of you. Feels just like the flu. Drowning in the soup. I've been thinking of you. Cold nights, drive through different hills, roll down, way down when the heat is on.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have just concluded with game number 1. Unfortunately, we did not get the pleasure of being able to view that game on stream, but we have come back with our scoreboard. Now, as one could imagine, there is a certain elephant in the room, and that is going to be Bald Eagle going up with a masterclass performance, 15 eliminations, 2 deaths, and 11 assists, completely overtaking this game at the end, Jack.
I mean, 2,000 gold more than the next mode. I mean, this guy went crazy. People have been calling it in chat all night. Bald Eagle 1v9, and he certainly delivered. Had the Medjais at the M2. I'm sure that was fully stacked. And Maddie, though, I always, whenever I play Sivir with my friends, they always say it's someone's playing Sivir support. So I like seeing that Sivir, was able to keep up, get a lot of assists on these kills. And, shout out to the guys who never get credit, our tanks. I mean, we've got Maokai, Ornn, and the Blitzcrank, 22 assists. These guys were huge playmakers. And even on the other side, it looks like it was mostly centered on the bot lane, a lot of those deaths. But Fire Vice was able to keep up, got a lot of gold, was able to push down a lot of those turrets. Moz did his best. They still got 7 turrets in the game, but after 41 minutes, we had Galaxy Gaming Milkyway come away victorious.
It was certainly a strong victory, but at this point we will be switching sides, so each team going to be able to face them with going from the blue to the red, going from the red over to the blue. So we're going to get to visit that, but once we go over to that second draft, we're really going to be able to figure out what is different. Jack, I want to get your opinion. Do we know if there is a fearless draft to be enabled, or whether or not we will be going into a default?
Nope. This is a normal pick and ban back to our roots. It's funny. I feel like Fearless Draft has been here forever, but it's only been this first split. So now I'm going back to the last 8 years of my career watching this, and I really like this for this league, because if you're a team looking to continue growing and continue climbing, you're able to really find your identity. So let's say that Milkyway love that engage comp, and they love the way that they're able to play. Sure, IDS might be able to say, all right, we don't like that Maokai. It's way too strong with what they want to do. But you ban out Maokai, say they pick Vi, or say they pick Sejuani. They're able to still find champions that are able to let them play the comp they want to play. So with that being said, looks like the bans are identical so far. I am interested to see what type of changes we see, and the Vi is a change that comes out. They don't want that more damage-oriented engage capabilities in the hands of Steve. Played extremely well on the Maokai in that first game. Didn't fear at all the Ivern presence. They are going to ban out the Maokai themselves, fearing its first pick on the other side.
See, I'm a little bit surprised by that Vi pick, but that kind of that makes up for me. The Wukong to come out, I was kind of expecting them maybe to want to go with something like a Vi Ahri, try and get some good mid lane combos down, but we will see the Wukong locked in. This is a strong pick just for that tankiness, Jack, but I don't know if that's really what you need right now instead of damage.
Yeah, jungle seems to be the safest blind pick in the game right now, unless you've got an 80 carry you really want to build around, like an Ashe or an Ezreal or something. The Varus would be an excellent answer. It's one of Maddie's favorites right here, being able to pick that up early, having the Jarvan out. Obviously, Wukong can still very easily get on top of Varus, make his life hell. But I think right now you've got to try and solidify your own jungle pick. There's a lot off the table. There's, in fact, 4 jungle bans and a pick. They're going to go with the Zyra. Now, down in the AEL, I'm not sure what the prio on this champ is, but let me tell you, in tier 1 professional leagues around the world, Zyra is one of the most sought after picks, banned in pretty much every single game. So it is a champion that is very, very scary for almost every team, but that does come with a lot of risk, because this is not a simple champion to pilot.
That is very true. It's most likely going to be played in that jungle position, but support not out of the question. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they do end up placing this. I think it's likely to be that jungler though, just because we've already seen the jungle locked in for IDS. There's the Jhin. I expected to see the Jhin match with map 1, but the second game it came out. Both of the AD carries for both teams like this character, so I definitely see this as a positive pick. The Aurora to come out. I would not be surprised if this is an Aurora top, just because there was certainly some comfort from the Aurora player on IDS, but let's see what the options will be. It seems like GGMW will have the same idea as me, and they will also lock in that top lane to match the Aurora.
Yeah, Cassante, still one of the strongest picks in the game. Very strong top laner, is able to so easily build, you know, whatever the enemy team's got, you build resistances for it, and then you start doing damage based on that. Really simple champion to follow, and has a lot of great combos, so it does behoove you to put a lot of games onto the pick. But after that performance first game, FTWY, his team fighting was really excellent. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's able to pilot this champ very well. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of IDS, because you're creating a lot of chaos in these team fights. And last game, that proved to be very useful for them. They had Ahri, Aphelios, Urgot, really putting down a lot of poke damage and forcing GGMW to walk into some of these chokes. So now you've got Wukong and his clone, you've got the curtain call coming out from Jhin, and then Aurora, you know, goes invisible and all of a sudden flies through, puts down that enormous ultimate and just explodes your AD carry, and now everyone's running. So I like what they've built in this first stage. I also love the Yone ban. Whenever you see a AP jungler, you almost always have to pair that with an AD mid, because you don't want, you know, the damage profile to be too skewed, because then one champion just builds armor and you're screwed, or one champion builds MR, you're screwed. So with Yone gone, I'm assuming we are going to see something like a Tristana, maybe even a Yasuo to just get a buff. And then usually you see that paired up with an Enchanter support, which is another reason why you see some support bans coming out from GGMW.
I mean, I definitely agree with you there. Leona getting banned again. We saw that banned out from GGMW game number 1. And to end it off, we will be finding our last ban and instantly locking in that Nautilus once more. Nautilus Varus on the bot lane, definitely not the worst. I think I prefer this compared to last game. I don't know what you think, but let's see what the response does end up being.
Yeah, Nautilus is going to be really good against the Jhin, against the Wukong, against the Aurora. As soon as you see him, you hit that Dreadnought, and then you know that they're going to get knocked up wherever they are. I would like to see some more peel coming in with the Alistar. I mean, it's one of the best champs when you're looking for engage, when you're looking for disengage. It really provides you with everything, so much CC. And when you're looking to, like I said, create that chaos, when that cow is just running through, knocking everyone out of his way, that really does make it difficult to team fight with. Now, the only thing left now, you mentioned the Aurora flex, so we're going to have to see right here, are they going to stick it in the top lane, or are they going to leave it mid and counter the Cassante? And they are going to leave it top, and we are seeing Xerath very good right now. Varus is the only long range GGMW have, and Xerath will certainly be able to counter that. And also, looking at GGMW, not a lot of mobility out of these carries.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot from IDS. I think that this could become really volatile with that Xerath, especially in the ultimate, can pay dividends very easily due to the fact that you don't have to watch out for players coming in if you're playing from that backline position. Vladimir to counter, certainly an interesting one. Not the most surprising, but certainly going to be a matchup for this Xerath.
This is a champion that I feel like a lot of players don't realize how much skill the champion takes. There's so many timing windows you have to hit. You know, you only have so much time to get your damage out before you have to start looking out for your own HP bar. You want to try and find the perfect angles to get these ultimates down. But I feel like it really works with the chaos IDS wants to bring. They want these fights to be volatile. They want you to be looking around your shoulder, over your shoulder at every single moment, looking in bushes. And Vladimir does a lot to suppress that, because you have to be afraid yourselves to get in position, because there could be a Vladimir waiting for you. If you guys walk into a chokehold, that Vlad ult's going to come down, and now all of you have to get out of there because there's no chance of killing him. He's going to heal his whole health bar back up. So from GGMW, I feel like they have somewhat strayed away from the strategy in game one, but they still have some of the core mechanics. You know, they have a scaling AD carry. They have a jungler that can really set stuff off and control zones. They've got, you know, the same type of support. Obviously, we don't have Blitzcrank. We've got Nautilus this time, but they've got a hook support. And that Cassante is a very sustainable top laner. They had Ornn last time. Cassante certainly can hold his own as well. But IDS, I like it. They're trying to do the same sort of tactic, but I like the champs this time a lot better.
Yeah, I'm liking this Aurora pick into the Cassante. I think Cassante, as you said, very similar to Ornn, just in the fact that they both play so well with those armor scaling, with other abilities such as your engage tool, where you can get some really good stuns, similar to the ultimate, but the all-in can be extremely good, especially against this composition, due to the fact there's a couple squishies that you can really target out here, that being the Aurora, the Jhin, and the Xerath especially can be so easy to pick off. So I'm liking this a lot, and I want to see what they can get off of this, but it really does have to come down to, will they be able to get this early game under control? Because as we remember, IDS did not have that in their hands. They lost that bot lane early on. Now, the Jhin along with the Alistar, I think, can be a little bit more powerful, but it really does have to make that work early to be the team to really get rooting for.
Yeah, I trust, you know, what they were up against last game. Obviously, you got Maokai Blitzcrank. There's so much CC to deal with. If you get caught for even a moment, you're dead. Even with the low damage Sivir provides early game. But now, we're not talking about a Felios Nautilus that has kind of a low damage, takes a lot of uptime. We're talking about Jhin, Alistar. These two will blow you up. And if Wukong comes to help, that's so much damage they can put out. And, I mean, Varus has nowhere to go. He's got Flash, and that's it. So Nautilus is going to have to do a lot of peeling if they put priority down here. You know, on the flip side, Zyra can't run in the way Maokai can with those Stranglethorn, the Nature's Grasp, excuse me. It covers the entire lane. There's nowhere to go. Zyra's got to get pretty close up and land her skill shots to really lock you down. So I'm expecting to see a lot more scaling from GGMW, a lot less of a active early game, maybe more so just kind of waiting to see stuff out. Zyra, you know, using those plants to take all the neutral objectives and just try and snowball the game.
I want to get your opinion. Do you think we will see the same situation where IDS kind of goes for those objectives towards the Drake more, or will we see those 6 Void Grubs come out? Because realistically speaking, I think that both options could be good, but it's going to come down to who's the one to control it first. Now, the Cassante towards the top side along with the Zyra, I don't think they're going to really want to go for Void Grubs because that's more of a play in lane type of composition comparatively to what you got. So I think the Zyra potentially going to want to help that bot lane get those Drakes and allow the Wukong to work towards Grubs, but I don't know what your personal thoughts are because that Aurora can be so oppressive.
Yeah, I think that Grubs would be certainly more useful for the side of GGMW because, you know, Jhin, not the best turret takers, Aerith, same. They don't have a lot of really good turret takers, so you don't really want to prioritize that. They do have great team fighting, so they're going to be looking for those dragons more so. And on the other side, you're right, there isn't a lot of great siege. Zyra does make it difficult putting those plants everywhere, but Varus is a very efficient turret taker, so I would think that the red side is certainly going to favor Grubs more than blue.
We'll have to wait and see. Currently, though, we're going straight on into the Rift, but we will have to return after this short break to get underway. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere because we will be back right after this.
I'm out here in the cold night, running till I barely feel my feet. Wanna see it through my own eyes. There's no going back, and I'm not afraid anymore. Cause I know I'm gonna be the last one standing. Yeah, I'm not afraid anymore. Yeah, I don't wanna wait anymore. I'm ready to fall, I'm ready to rise up. I will take me down. See that I'm surrounded by predators. It's critical, they got me in my element. It's dirty how you trying to keep it elegant. Keep my eyes open wide when everyone around me is an enemy. See my life cross my eyes. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down. Too bad you can't take me down. You can't take me down. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. I'll run blind straight into the flames. Watch me burn, alone in the shadows. I'll carry you home on my back. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down. All people taken away, the numbers too great to comprehend. We cannot break, we cannot bend. We must find and strike their hearts. Must stop its relentless beating pulse. For these tyrants covered our world. Gather our people, bring them to the ruins. You shall wait at the city gates. You shall guide their way. You shall hear their coming.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're returning to you after our draft. We've come back ready for the action. Joining me once again is going to be Jack for this game. We got a double lead, and let's see whether or not these teams can come up. I don't know why I'm saying that, because let's be honest, we knew that there would be 2 games, so let's see whether or not we'll go to a third tonight. But as of now, these 2 teams are certainly ready for the action.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, obviously, when we have here in the AEL as Justify very close, does end up taking an arrow. Arcane Comet on the Varus, obviously, right away makes me think that's going to be lethality. Good comp to go lethality into Jin, Xerath, Wukong, Aurora, all squishy enough to take a lot of damage from that. But I was going to say, in some leagues in this tier, you see a lot more variety in the champion pools. You know, these guys are playing what they're good at, they're playing what's comfortable, and they're building around that. They're not necessarily beholden to, you know, whatever the pros think is the best. They play what they are best at. They're looking to win and improve. But to still see some of the highest prio champ, I mean, Varus currently in this like spring split, I know we're still in the winter split here, but Varus is the highest priority champion in the world right now. This is a champ that everyone universally, and as we can see here, everyone who plays this game at this professional level feels this champion is very strong. And the same can be said for Aurora, same can be said for Zyra, Alistar. Like, they are picking a lot of very strong champions. I'm very happy to see that.
The only real question marks here are going to be that Wukong, maybe the Jhin as well. Two characters that you don't usually see as that main, but even the Wukong and Alistar are two big picks that can work very well. These are all very meta champions. What I'm trying to get at, and as of now, neither team gonna play aggressive. Neither team gonna go for invades or do anything that could leave them open to attacks, but that might be a little bit too greedy, potentially. Never mind, able to sidestep the Q and get out without harm. So right now, both sides on the bot lane going to be in a good spot. However, with the Alistar at around 60% HP, that could create a problem, especially with the root coming out and a little bit extra damage just to get your fills worth. Right now, over towards the mid lane. Flash not going to be brought out just yet, but there it is going to be extended. Bald Eagle taken to one shot remaining and potentially to be found, but not just yet. Flash comes through, but they will stay alive.
The level up saved his life for... That is insane. That is so... Bald Eagle played like a menace in game one, and I gave them a lot of praise. But that was lucky. That was damn lucky. The timing on the Q was excellent. But, I mean, he is lucky to come away with his life, and Steve comes right in.
Oh, despite the low HP, that's gonna do it. First blood given over. And that first blood is going to be so necessary because it was, as you were saying before we got into this game, this is a AP jungle mid. So it is going to be a situation where this Xerath can just start buying that AP magic resist. So I think that there's a good chance that they could get somewhere in the later half of this game. They will be buying the amplifying tone to start us off, but I could easily just get first item and start to counter pick or just start countering immediately.
Yeah, they could go for something like that Banshee's Veil. You know, Xerath has a lot of different ways that build can go, but the Zyra already having those Faded Ashes, I mean, these clears are only going to get more and more quick. They're going to be able to so easily clear their entire jungle, get to every objective first, get to every single fight first. So this is going to snowball pretty rapidly. That's why Zyra is so highly contested. High clear speed, a lot of damage, easy to come into lanes, easy to control objectives. You know, really has everything you want out of a champion. Going back to that mid lane skirmish, I mean, just want to highlight something I feel like we didn't get to talk about much during the first game, but the communication level of this GGMW team must be so high, because that skirmish lasted quite a while between Bald Eagle and Justify, and I was looking at the map. I believe that Wukong had based after their first full clear, but Steve waiting around, coming in, as we see the aftermath of a bit of a trade in the top side. Fire Vice has the range advantage, but with no mana now, has to be very careful.
Yeah, this Aurora, despite being ranged, they're not going to drop the heal potion for some reason, which I think they could have done, but it seems like instead they just want to back. So they do have that teleport to get right back into the fight. But, I mean, I'm not sure if you really need to use it this early on. Swifty is to be bought. Now, I'm not sure about you, but that's a little bit odd to me.
Undid it.
Oh.
They were just faking you out. And teleport back to lane. So the 2 amp tomes, I mean, Swifties eventually, I can see it. You want to get in position. You don't want to be slowed by some of these plants by Zyra. But I mean, look at what I'm talking about with the Zyra plants. Just able to solo the dragon on spawn, having 2 plants deal so much damage. I mean, generally you'll see someone let some of the plants tank, but because it was so early on. You can allow the plants to mainly deal damage and have a ton of damage in the kit. Now, I do like seeing the immediately cross map. They pick up the objective. They are going to get collapsed on. Sub King has roamed up. This could be a massive fight right away if they look into the pit. They know now.
Yeah, this Nautilus looking to make first contact. However, they will decide to disengage. Not going to try and fight that because they know that there is the Aurora who has just recently backed, meaning that they will be at that high percentage on their abilities and gold to item. But right now, 3 gold, 3 grubs taken. This is very similar to last game where these objectives just get traded. We don't see either jungler trying to really make some crazy plays. However, this might be a little bit crazy in of itself with both players, this jungle and support, looking to go in aggressively. But oh, Beyond Worlds gets taken now. Root's going to be there, but a great Zyra ult finds nothing in exchange. This going to be the Unstoppable coming out, and that's a phenomenal Unstoppable. Going to get this support to force out the flash and leaving them in a bad situation. Over towards the bot side, we will get to see that Alistar's presence not being there really coming to fruition, with this tower getting completely just shut down. See whether or not they will find anything, but Maw is just going to take a little bit of damage even under the turret.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really good decision made. Rudy stays up on the top side. Obviously, once they take that grubs, the thought process from the red side would be, okay, he's going to back, re-link up with his bottom lane, but instead, they stay top. Now, Z Rhino, I'm not sure if he was seen on vision there. I'm not sure if he walked up too close. The jungle pet's giving him away. It's on the wrong side of the map, or the wall, I should say, but they definitely know about it now. Moz did a good job soaking as much XP under tower as possible, getting as much CS as possible, but really great collapse on the side of ID Supernova right there. Managed to get those grubs, get some counter jungling in. Only really unfortunate part is Rudy does have to use that flash after he got all outed under turret. That's certainly not where he wanted to be. But we're kind of getting back into this little dance. You know, ID Supernova know that their strength comes in their 5v5 team fighting, and on the other side, Galaxy Gaming know that their strengths are going to come from scaling, letting Vladimir get items, letting Varus get items. It is going to be the lethality Varus, as we see the serrated Dirk come out, the tier come out, wants to put out as many arrows as possible. But now Steve hovering mid lane, there is flash on the Xerath, so could be risky, but probably just a hover before they go back to base.
Currently, both teams, not either one in a great situation, but you would have to imagine that for this blue side, they'd prefer this just due to that scaling nature that they do get. Both sides obviously can scale, but I think that Varus, especially when building lethality, is going to be not as impactful towards the late game as something like a Jhin who isn't down, because, oh, that crit damage can become powerful. But we will have to just wait and see, but currently, there's not really any crazy things happening around the map. Obviously, there's going to be neither top winners in lane, but that's not too big of a deal. They're just going to be walking their way on back.
Yep, we do have the second grub spawning. Bald Eagle, I mean, this is what you deal with Xerath trying to hit those ults. Just W's right out of it. Very well played by Vladimir. That is why you see this counter picked into Xerath sometimes. Xerath wants to hit you with these long-range abilities. You just go into your pool, and there's no way that he can hit you. Really well played by Bald Eagle. I'm glad that I did, you know, you and I looked at these players early, and Bald Eagle definitely stood out on this team. Very skilled player, puts in a lot of practice in solo queue, has a wide pool. And on the other side, I mean, Justify, the Xerath is a great pull, but I want to highlight really quick Z Rhino. Right now, I mentioned the first game, but he's tied for the highest kill participation in the AEL. This guy is a part of everything his team does. And last game, he was kind of shut out a little bit. You know, the Maokai kind of ran things. He's playing the Ivern, so he's not really that. He's not a self-starter. He can't really get much done on his own. He did a great job when it came to taking his camps, but this game, he's been much more proactive. Obviously, the Wukong allows you to do that. He's been counter jungling. He's been linking up with the support, letting that support jungle combo run the map. They've got 6 grubs now. they haven't been able to contest either of these Dragon Zone. That does worry me a little, because with Ocean Dragon, with Infernal Dragon, obviously those early Drakes are just kind of minor stat buffs that you can appreciate. But being only one Dragon away from Soul Point, that kind of puts you in a situation where even though you've drafted a team fighting comp, you still want to be starting fights on your terms. And when you are forced to fight dragons, you don't have the ability to kind of give them up. You have to stop them from getting soul. It really puts you in a bind that you're kind of, you know, playing into the enemy team. And with Hextech Dragon, I mean, that one of the best, giving you the ability haste, the bonus damage on hit, just one of the most powerful Dragon Souls.
Oh, just have to wait to see, because currently this Cassante in the top lane, they're getting to a point where they don't really have to worry about the Aurora too much due to the fact that they have so much MR. As of now, though, engagement's going to come in. Root comes through. Curtain Call gets activated. There's the Nautilus ult, but not going to find much. It's a Rhino to get this equalizer on the kills. Gold's a little bit even as well. Maybe it's going to be a bit on this blue side's favor, but question now becomes, will they be able to take it farther? The answer is going to be yes, with the plates already faltering. Maybe one, maybe two, bring it to a third potentially, but as of now, they're just going to run straight on through this gold lead. Will we see a fourth? Probably not. That might be asking a little bit too much, but Root will come through, looking to burst them down. And
wave.
Oh, there's plate number 4. Maybe we see the tower dead just off of this alone.
I mean, that was, everyone's moving down, so I want to get this point in really quickly. Brilliant play. The Dragons have been taken, so there's no reason to think that the jungler is going to be on bot side, but now everyone's bot side.
Oh, this Vladimir really got to put the self heal to work, and they will. Getting the kill, and at this point, there's the ult coming in from the Xerath, going for more. There's Feats of Warfare coming out in a double kill. Coming out from Maddie to secure this fight win. It seems as if, despite having that kill at the start of the fight and almost securing the tower, well, actually not even almost, they did secure the tower, but they did not secure the kills.
I mean, it's like they read my mind. I said, you guys don't want to be giving all these objectives because you're going to have to play into the red side draft. You know, Galaxy Gaming is going to get exactly what they want, and what happened? They overstayed. They made a great play bottom side. The Dragon's gone, so the enemy team has no reason to think that Wukong would be bottom side. He has no camps. The Dragon's dead. Why would he ever be here? But he is here. He shows up, and they get the kill on the ADC. They get 4 plates. It's incredible. They have to just back off. They're putting themselves in a situation where they don't have their major cooldowns. They just used everything to get that kill and to get those turret plates. But everyone collapses. They catch out Wukong going for the crab, and then they immediately come down, and they play right into the strengths of this draft. I mean, Maddie respawned, ran all the way down, and got a double kill off of a play that started with him dying. So they just gave them everything they wanted. They want a fight where ID Supernova have to walk into them and have to use their abilities just to get entrance into a play. And you saw that on full effect during that bot play.
Now, unfortunately, this is not a big gold lead. Only about 800 to be leveraged above their opponents. And I'm not saying that's nothing. Obviously, that is certainly a good start, but you want to be able to bring this further because currently, anybody can win a team fight. There's some good ultimates that can be popped from either team, and if you can secure a couple players with it, it will be big. It will poke out a little bit of damage early on in this fight, but unfortunately for this blue side, they have not found what they really do need. Whether or not they can change that to be determined, but as of now, still just a little bit of a standstill. In Iridescent Dawn Supernova, though, they have a lot of players coming towards this mid side. They want to get something. They want to get it before this Drake does end up spawning out, because that's only going to be in 1 minute and 7 seconds, Jack. So think of that point, if you're going to be on the side of the Galaxy Gaming Milky Way, they're certainly going to want to try and fight for that Drake each and every time.
Yeah, and they switch their bottom lane into mid. They want to make sure they get that mid push. Obviously, bot turret being down, they can't really afford to walk into Dragon from bot. They're going to need to walk in from mid. They want to be able to set up before ID Supernova are able to get in there. But I think it's going to be difficult, not only because you have no teleport on FTWY. He's sitting up there. He can't join unless he walks down. He got first item Kanik Rooker, so he's really only itemizing for the Aurora and the Xerath. It makes sense in lane, but lane's about to be over. You know, Aurora's going to move down and going to be able to use that between worlds to really cause so much chaos in the fight. I think based on the vision, it's about 50-50. Red team does get the Scuttle Crab, so that's going to be big, but they're trying to keep these mid waves pushed. They want to be able to have easy access to the Dragon River as our first Hextech Dragon has spawned. The teleport is coming in from Fire Vice. Goodbye Cassante opts not to use his teleport, just to walk down. And now this is going to be very chaotic because ID Supernova has retaken control. They're going to have to walk in, but great flank angle by Bald Eagle.
Oh, Bald Eagle is in such a good position. The empowered Q to start us off, and good flash comes through, looking to get something more going into their pool, looking to get that damage, but Beyond Worlds comes out along with the ultimate coming out from Steve, but that's not going to be enough. The all out from the Cassante looking to get value, but it's just going to be forced out of a flash, and with a couple people still remaining, that's going to be Fire Vice to get taken down. Some curtain calls to be extended, but a Xerath ult to really get the damage out. The artillery fire will be commencing, and now it's all up to this. Oh no, I was thinking that Frey might be able to get something, but FTWY going to just have to stand here and wait with all the CC in the world. That will give a fight win over towards this side of the Iridescent Dawn Supernova. That also allows them to collect a Drake, which they so desperately need. Super King trying to stop it out, but there is going to be a TP coming on a line. That's going to be Stray, the one player you really do need. And it seems as if despite having the advantage, they're not going to get anything. Nautilus with the flash going to go out aggressively. There's going to be the clone activated, not going to be really catching them out for too long. Good hook to get to commence, and that's gonna do it. Sub King with the kill, and there's the smite to destroy the Drake, giving that soul point over to the side of Galaxy Gaming Milkyway.
Oh, you can tell there was just so much indecision towards the end of that fight. I mean, Iridescent Dawn had a good start. They were able to peel the Vladimir off long enough, make sure he didn't get any kills. They do give up the Aurora, but they were able to push away so much of what Galaxy Gaming wanted to do, but then in the end they let FTWY live because they don't want to keep chasing him. They want to go back to the Dragon, but it's been too long. Steve walks up and FTWY just bases and teleports back in with full HP. They can't do this same dance twice. They've used too much. In that team fight though, I mean, I didn't realize it in draft, but an incredible combination of the Jhin Xerath, because Jhin has the ability to use that curtain call and put down so much damage with just their ultimate and having so much safety, and Xerath has the ability to do pretty much the exact same thing, able to use that Rite of Arcane, just sitting so far back, putting in so much damage as Bald Eagle's caught maybe again.
Oh, and a good route to come out. Curtain call gets extended. Flash can be activated, getting out of reach. But Bald Eagle, can they stay alive? Beyond Worlds gets activated. Maybe too much being extended for that one kill, but it certainly wasn't the worst thing in the world because they did end up taking it. That is going to be an ultimate off the board. No more curtain call to try and help, however, so not totally unfortunately. I don't know. I don't hate the play, but I don't love it either because currently you have very few ultimates for this blue side. Now, if Iridescent Dawn wants to win this game, you get that 300 gold. That's going to be good, but once the team fight breaks out, if you don't have these very impactful ultimates on the board, it's certainly not going to be the best situation.
Yeah, luckily not too much to fight over right now. We have only one turret taken right now. It is that bottom lane red side outer turret was taken in that crazy early game fight, but I think we really have to try and commit a lot of time into this mid lane, because you saw during that dragon setup how difficult of a time with not having Steve there to wave clear. They weren't able to get easy access to the dragon pit, and because of that we almost had a disastrous fight with, you know, Bald Eagle had a great flank, but it didn't matter because all of the members of Iridescent Dawn were so much closer. So they have to commit resources into this mid lane to get this turret down. And it looks like they're committing mostly to bot lane. They want to crack that outer, and committing 2 members down here justifies caught under turret.
Oh, stun comes through, but it's not going to be enough. No kill to commence, but that might just do it. With the Rhino down and out, they will get the kill. Nothing to exchange. The Vladimir still alive and kicking, secures some towers, and that will do it. The engagement has been called short, and it will be a little bit of a standstill from here on out. But nobody in this top lane really did do much, which obviously doesn't make a ton of surprise, because Panic Rook is a massive ability that allows you to get out of any real AP champion's grasp. So they've just been hit with the entire combo, and they're only at, what, 4/5 of their HP remaining?
Yeah, very, very strong item on a very strong champion. And of course, if K'Sante uses that all out, that magic resist will be turned directly into damage that he's going to be able to use. Aurora doesn't have any complaints either in that state, because Fire Vice has that blue buff. It has run out now, but Aurora is able to do so much poke damage without worry of any sort of retaliation in this form. I do want to go back to that kill that Z Rhino got in that bottom play, as we just kind of have some nice ambiance fighting in the background that isn't going to result in a kill, of course, but just has some nice music in the background almost. But Wukong was able to get a massive shutdown by killing Steve there and getting that Zyra off the map. And with 20 seconds left on the Dragon, this is going to be another opportunity where, you know, this is good positioning, as I think that FTWY on the top side is actually in a pretty rough situation, taking a lot of turret shots. He's going to be able to get out because of the mobility, but just a lot of, you know, top combat going on while the rest of the map focuses on, you know, trying to get this permanent objective, as Galaxy Gaming Milkyway are on Soul Point.
Lots of stuff in play. Lots of players ready to use their abilities as those tools to get that damage. But as of now, it's going to be Soul converted over. Nobody to contest by the looks of it. Trying to get something actually, potentially. But is a Rhino going to be completely sunned up? Curtain Call gets activated, but not in time. The Nautilus will fall in exchange with so much utility getting poured on them, but the last shot from the Curtain Call will miss. That avoids the last critical hit, which is the most impactful. But now we see the next orbital ult with the sidestep to get away. That's going to leave Bald Eagle with all of their gold intact, and they didn't have a shutdown by any means, but it was still that 300 gold that leaves them alive and kicking.
Having the swiftness boots, the cosmic drive, phase rush, I mean, it's so much movement speed. I give credit to Justify for hitting those first 4, but I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier when it comes to mid pressure, except for the strategy used by Gaming Galaxy Milkyway was brilliant. They decided just ignore mid lane. If we get into the Dragon Pit through bot, they can just have the mid lane. We'll give up our turret. They can have that tier 1 in the mid lane. But we're trading that for Dragon Soul, Hextech Soul. That is a permanent buff that is going to make their team fighting so much stronger. And I know that they don't have a ton of poke on their side, because Zyra, you know, puts out the plants, and the piercing arrows obviously will be huge. But other than that, the Hextech Soul, I guess Iridescent Dawn decided it wasn't as important as getting some of this standing gold down. They do have the 6 grubs, so it's hard to contest. But at the same time, Voracious Otacon is being taken, so I can't really decide whether or not I agree or disagree with the strategy of taking these permanent objectives in exchange for these structures. We'll have to wait and see what kind of situations arise, but now they all have Guardian Angel for the next, you know, couple of minutes, and that is going to make it so much more difficult for Iridescent Dawn to find good fights and good angles to maybe take a Baron to really fully utilize these grubs.
Honestly, I don't totally disagree with that idea to go for the towers, just due to the fact that they did not have as much gold, and now they do, almost even a lead. But they were probably not winning Otacon as well, just due to the fact that, like, this is such a good team fighting composition that they're going up against. And meanwhile, I mean, you do have 2 orbital ults basically, which do get you a ton of value in those team fights when it comes to finding out those last couple people, you're not going to be able to get those if you can't even get them down to low enough HP. So I don't hate it going for those 2 top towers, but now the Grubs isn't going to find as much value since there's not as much to find it on. But we might see the Guardian Angel being utilized already. Never mind, they will be able to back out. We might see the Baron be the next target. Obviously, the Galaxy, they want to get some more value off of this Guardian Angel. And if you're going to force a team fight on a Baron, that could be the best way to do it. However, they will opt in for mid instead.
And he's put himself in a bad spot. They're committing everything for this.
Yeah, there's going to be the World's going to be activated. They want to go for more. Great ult coming in from the jungler, and now she's going to be taking a ton of damage. Current call gets activated. That's going to withdraw 1 already. Looking to connect the second. Able to get the final hit off. That's a good damage activated onto the Varus. And at this point, I can't even speak, but this Nautilus sure can. They're speaking to the rest of the team that you will not make it past. There's the top tower destroyed. Looking to destroy the bottom one as well. This certainly was a great play from this side of the Galaxies. They wanted to really just kind of trick their opponents into taking engagements mid, and even though you could say that was a win, dropping in the in-between worlds and doing all of that, they were not able to keep their towers alive, and that's going to be a ton of gold converted over towards the Supernova roster. Now 3 players in the bot side, and especially when your Cassante only built to really deal with that AP damage, you could just send somebody like that Wukong over and they might have a tough time. But next tower to be destroyed in the mid side. However, they will be exchanging a ton of damage. Root comes out and needing to drop a flash, and if you have it, but will they have it? No, they will not, and Maddie will fall down. Rhino having a little bit of a detriment on the HP line, gonna be chased down. There's the TP in play, but now there's Xerath backing out, but oh, the self-heal is good and it will get the damage. Rhino barely able to keep alive, forced out. It's going to be Trey to get out of the fight, and Flash activates, and there's the root, and there is the kill.
The Stranglethorn so well placed. I mean, that whole fight, it just screams desperation from Iridescent, Dawn, Supernova. They know that they're getting outscaled. They know that if they don't cement themselves and get some gold, this Elder fight is going to be impossible. I like the attempt to try and catch out a member, even if it's just Sup King, able to get the withdrawal, able to get some gold. It makes it so much easier to blow him up in the next fight. But they use so much and they're not even able to get him in. You see why it's so difficult for this Supernova squad to follow and chase these long fights, because Zyra, all she had to do was put down some bulbs, put down that Stranglethorn ultimate, and just the plants do so much damage, and once you get knocked up, you're just unable to fight back. And I mean, Steve is really just, if the game ended right now, he's my MVP. I know that Bald Eagle got a ton of kills in that first game, but Steve is just running the map right now. He has everything going his way. This right now, I think we need to see something miraculous from the side of Iridescent, Dawn, Supernova, because if this Elder Dragon goes over, that means it's a free Baron, and that means it's as many turrets as they want.
I mean, you could try and trade Elder for Baron, but I don't know if that's really the trade either team wants to go for. Early damage can come out onto Zerino, but as of now, they will still be alive and kicking, looking to try and get the contest, looking to 50-50 for the Elder. I don't know if that's really going to be a possibility, especially with the poke damage coming out. You should not have allowed this final Drake to be converted, because now it is really going to be desperation from this side. I don't know. I'm liking how this Galaxy team has been playing, and all right, they will be trading. And this isn't great though, because I don't love the flip either way. You're going to get the Baron, but let's be honest, it's not going to do much being able to empower your minions when your opponents have that Hextech Soul that can be so just impactful when it comes to being able to burn down minions. And we will see a couple players starting to rotate over just to try and find some early damage. Curtain Call gets activated, Flash comes through, looking to play behind the Nautilus, but as we can see, really trying to get the damage out themselves. A good workaround, and as of now, there's going to be Justify taken down, and the Baron back to full HP, and we already see the engagement come out, and oh my gosh, there it is. It's so desperation. Bald Eagle to secure so much damage onto their opponents, and I don't think this Jin has been called out, so they will be alive and kicking. But with the Elder converted and nothing in terms of the Baron, it's going to just be this red sign to secure this next tower and potentially just secure the map here.
I mean, death timers at 20 seconds apiece. They can at least get this inhibitor tower. Maz is in there, but I don't think he has enough damage to get through the Cassante. As you can see, the Iceborne Gauntlet, the plated steel caps, and a chain vest. He's got plenty of armor to match that MR now, sitting at 004, but that's a deceiving stat line. This Cassante is massive. And I mean, the Zyra has the stopwatch. You're never going to get that kill. The command Bald Eagle has over Vladimir. He knows how to work this champion so well. You've got full poke Varus. Oh, and the failed E from Fire Vice.
Oh, but we might see the first player getting picked out here. Yes, we will. Maddie to get taken down. A little bit of overextension from them, and it will be called out perfectly. As of now, though, the Empowered Q going to be able to come out, take a little bit of damage onto Rudy. They will not be desperate, though. They will be able to stick in the fight, looking to clear out wards. Nothing to find, though. And at this point, going to be a kill converted onto the Varus, and nobody to really try and exchange that. Seems as if the Baron might be the thing to target, but see whether or not they will end up going for it. Obviously, there's the Vladimir, who we've seen time and time again being that playmaker. They're going to be destroying wards, making sure that there's going to be a little bit of second guessing from this opposing side.
It's like a turret went down somewhere with the objective bounties, but I'm not sure where. Oh, the mid turret ended up falling. That is pretty big, and I'm surprised though. With Maddie down, they do end up getting that mid-inner, but they don't end up trying to set up around Baron much. I know it's extremely difficult. Maz now, they have no idea. They think that they're on it. They're obviously not. So now you go into this next fight without the ultimate from Maz, but so many members still have Elder Dragon, and it doesn't matter if you catch him out. He's going to go into the Sanguine Pool.
Oh, Bald Eagle is taking so much early damage, but they still find value securing the kill despite the odds. And Maddie to get the next, Rudy to be taken down. Beyond Worlds getting taken into connection, and they will be able to get out. Flash extended, and they will have to exhaust their summoner spells, but they won't even be able to escape off of it either, and that might just do the game. With a very few players remaining, it's all up to Maz to kind of halt this attack, and they're just going to be able to march straight on into this base.
I mean, just a masterful game by Galaxy Gaming Milkyway. They came into this with a 3-3 record. They needed to keep winning, and they needed to win decisively, and that is exactly what they have done. They have the playoffs in their sights, and not only are they putting themselves in a great position to earn a spot, they also are going to be the first team to take down Iridescent Dawn Supernova.
Yeah, who knows what happened. You would not expect the number 3 seed to be able to come into this and destroy that number 1 undefeated squad, but unfortunately, it was just going to be Iridescent to be taken offline and destroyed. The Supernova is being extinguished, and that's going to do it. It's going to be a 2-0 lead, and bringing themselves to a 4-3 scoreline. They definitely cannot be unhappy with the results of this game.
Incredible job. They go ahead and they win the series from today, and I mean, with one, I mean, this is it. So that is an incredible performance to have going into next week at the end of the qualifiers. And I mean, really not too much to like look over. I mean, they had a couple fights where they played into their opposing team's strengths, but for the most part, everyone did extremely well. Maddie was able to really have command over these scaling 80 carries. Bald Eagle is obviously such a facilitator for this team. He's got such command over these champions. You've got Steve in the jungle. Everyone seems to just love this guy. And like, I do want to give some credit to the, you know, unsung players. You know, you got Sup King. I was hoping to see Yumi, but I am happy with the performances we saw from the Nautilus, and you know, from I believe the Blitzcrank is what he had, obviously, that first game, and I like seeing the tanks. I'm a big tank fan too, so just everything. And here at Aegis, we don't just give you guys incredible League of Legends, we also give you guys some incredible opportunities thanks to our sponsor, Zen Market. Have you ever had a problem longing for that special Japanese item, but you can't find it locally? Well, we have a solution for you. Zen Market is your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops in Japan, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all of your items safely into one box and ship it internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 languages, which is why Zen Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat. Try them out now. And if you sign up using the promo code Aegis, that is AEGIS, you'll get 1,000 yen off of your first international shipping fee. That is AEGIS, code Aegis, and 1,000 yen off of your first international shipping fee. So thank you so much to Zen Market. And Cherry, great job tonight.
Thank you. And that's going to do it. Everyone, make sure to go use Zen Market. And thank you so much, Jack, for joining us. Thank you so much, PVS, for being the greatest observer of all time. That is truthful and that is factual, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that you don't try and fact check me on that because we all know what will come up. PVS, the GOAT. Jack, the GOAT. Everyone, make sure to go follow them on Twitter. Not sure what their Twitter handles are, but I'm sure you can find it if you look it up. But that's going to be it from us. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。